Now look, man, Adidas has been dropping tons of new models this year in particular. But this one right here, this one has been where all the fuss is about. It's bold, it's sculpted, it's futuristic, and it's weird in every good possible way. Today, we're going to be taking a closer look on the brand new Adidas Adistar Jellyfish. People have been calling this sneaker futuristic, designer inspired, even saying it reminds them of things like the Yeezy or Balenciaga. But instead of trying to compare it to what came before, I think we should actually appreciate what the Adistar is bringing on its own. Because sometimes we get caught up in what something may remind us of, and we forget to appreciate something that's, in my opinion, totally new. So I've actually been wearing these for a little bit now, and I'm ready to kind of break down the shoe itself and the story that goes alongside with it. So let's get into the Jellyfish itself. The first thing that obviously hits you is the silhouette. It's got that runner type of shape, but the lines itself are way smoother. Everything feels like organic or aquatic, like a jellyfish. The layers on the upper actually blend in together instead of kind of like stacking, giving it almost like a 3D printed type of overall feel and look. The mesh on the upper itself is very lightweight, it's breathable, and then you have these translucent type of overlays that go on throughout the whole entire sneaker, which gives it that futuristic look as well as the texture itself. Then there's the cushioning. These look comfortable, something in my opinion that was different with those big chunky Balenciagas. Adidas used what they're calling the Adistar compound. It's not Boost, but it's a dual density midsole system that's focused on stability up front and impact protection on the heel. So wearing these shoes actually feel pretty stable overall, in my humble opinion. It's not Boost type of soft, but it is, in my opinion, very good for endurance and everyday type of wear. The outsole deserves a shout too, man. It's got a wavy transaction pattern that isn't just cosmetic. It grips very well on the floor and smooth pavements. It's important because the Jellyfish could easily have been a show sneaker, but Adidas is clearly trying to make this shoe actually wearable. Because when it definitely comes to these chunky type of dad vibes, or some people that like to call this like a designer type of shoe, you gotta sometimes sacrifice comfort for aesthetics. That's not the case with the Jellyfish. So whether you're traveling the city, just traveling in general, the Adistar, in my opinion, definitely holds up. Visually, man, the Jellyfish just seems like an evolution of the dad type of shoe and vibes. I would say also a callback to the 90s trainers from Adidas and other brands out there. Some people want to say it looks, or maybe a evolution of the Wave Runner, from the fact that it is that dad shoe type of vibe and the amount of layering that's going on. But I would say that the Wave Runner was more of an analog mixture of suede, mesh, and leather, while the Jellyfish itself feels more of a digital type of sneaker with synthetics, see-through materials, and lightweight innovation to go alongside with it. Even the heel panels on this dynamic curve makes them look like they're in motion. So yeah, it's got that same energy, but in my opinion, it's a whole new type of language. So here's where things start to click. Adidas carries a lot of the philosophy of the same performance that made past Adidas shoes stand out, but it's built on a totally new mindset. While older silhouettes like the Wave Runner blended that nostalgia and futurism, the Jellyfish, in my opinion, is more futuristic first, with a subtle nod to heritage to go alongside with it. It's confident in its own shape, materials, not loud colorways or chunky callbacks. It's sleek, sculpted, and versatile. It represents where Adidas is, I would say, like right now. Another thing about this shoe is proportions. This shoe is apparently, from what someone measured, 6 inches wide. Now that might be on their particular size, but these things are wide when you look at the heel. And it's pretty heavy footed when you feel the shoe itself. The upper is extremely lighter than the actual outsole itself. But that itself just blends in and adds that presence to your overall fit. That's what makes the shoe stand out. So you can rock it with your cargos, you can rock it with shorts, you can rock this shoe pretty much with anything. In my opinion, of course, people are going to say the smaller sizes like me at an 8.5, 9, 9.5, it's going to look better than your big size 12. I know some of y'all out there that wear those big sizes are like, I can't do it, Tony. I think you can. Just give yourself a shot. And with the shoe itself coming out in a orange and now this green and then a black version, they kind of keep the same type of overall colorway, just swapping out the main color that you see where the green is for an orange or the black so far. But there has been pictures of other colorways coming down the pipeline where the whole entire upper mesh is a totally different color. So you might be wondering once again, like, how are these on foot? Because they look extremely big. I actually wore them, as I stated before. Very, very comfortable overall. And the sizing, some people said that, I don't know. I have a size, this is a size 9. And I usually go 8.5 for more snugger fit. But the size 9 itself fits very, very good. So I am a true 8.5, true 9. I'm going to say true to size, but I have seen people that have recommended sizing up, and that might sound crazy because this is a big shoe overall. I think you should just go with your true size, okay? 8.5 would definitely have been a little bit tighter and snug, but I would not have an issue with it whatsoever. I think true to size, in my humble opinion, you're going to be okay. If I had to sum it up, the overall, like how the actual Adistar is, it's almost like a perfectly balanced performance and lifestyle sneaker when wearing it, just being honest. Because you can actually do some damage with this as a runner, but you can also just wear it as a lifestyle shoe. Now, of course, the biggest elephant in the room when it comes to the Adistar is the person behind it, Pharrell. Coming out of Virginia, of course. When you really know the history of Adidas, you realize that Pharrell has been in the game with Adidas for a very long time. Initially signing back in 2014, a year before the Yeezy was even brought to Adidas, Pharrell has been doing collaborations and being a big-time creative over at Adidas, helping them continue to branch out and, I would say, just push the envelope forward with the human race. That whole entire just side of Adidas brought out a whole new design, a whole new category of sneakers, in my humble opinion, with the NMD. And in my opinion, Pharrell opened the door for people like a Kanye or a Bad Bunny to be able to have that creative juice flowing for future projects that we see Adidas pushing out even to today. And you'll notice also people that mainly wear Jordans or mainly wear Nikes, or people that was wearing Adidas, have heavily gravitated to this shoe from all different forms of sneakerheads out there. I think that this shoe overall has had an applaud, and it's been maybe hated by a few people, but for the most part has had a very good Rotten Tomatoes grading from the overall sneaker community. So much to where people are putting it on its top 10 list. And I definitely will be as well. Because it's something new, it's something innovative, and it's something coming from Pharrell that, I mean, we just can't ignore. Pharrell has been a mastermind for years and years, and one of the OGs in sneaker collaborations. He doesn't really miss. Now, the only issue about this particular shoe, of course, is its availability. It's a very highly sought after, sold out, resale magnet right now, right? What Adidas is doing with this shoe feels almost international. It wasn't pushed, though, like a major release from previous big collaborations of the past. It kind of like snuck in almost. However, it still was well sought after. But that, of course, leads me to the retail price of the shoe, which is $300. Now, we're not too unfamiliar with that because that's what the Wave Runners were costing. So, yeah. Now, I'm not going to say that this is monumentally or impact-wise better than the Wave Runner on the impact thing. But I do kind of feel like you get more shoe when it comes to this one. Like, literally. I feel like the tech and things that go into this particular shoe, it may oversee that of the Wave Runner. But will it oversee the legacy of the Wave Runner? That part, I don't know. But once again, it's not about that. It's about just witnessing greatness. There's no reason to compare Jordan to Kobe or Kobe to LeBron. Just appreciate what comes and the moments that we're actually coming in. No Diddy. And I'm doing that with the Jellyfish. I like these a lot. And we're going to be doing just a straight up review also on the channel. But I wanted to talk about this shoe and the impact it's had on sneaker culture so far this year. Because it's been like one of the most talked about sneakers this year. So with that being said, like, what makes this sneaker so special? I think it's the fact that it's not trying to be like anything else. It's trying to create its own lane in its own moment. And it's something we haven't seen coming out of Adidas in a very long time as far as a chunky dad or a 90s type of style sneaker being brought back. And it's different for the fact that it's a futuristic shoe that leans on nostalgic vibes instead of a nostalgic looking shoe that has pushed a couple of futuristic tech to bring alongside with it. The Jellyfish, in my opinion, is a sneaker that brings its own statement, that brings its own dinner to the table, I would say. And I do think that with this style of shoe and the overall look, if Pharrell and them continue to push the envelope forward with this and kind of continue on this look the same way that he did with the NMD, I definitely think that we got a very nice road ahead of us with the Jellyfish and any other fish that may come alongside with it, coming out of Adidas and Pharrell's camp. The only issue, of course, they're just hard to get, at least for now, and who knows how long. Adidas now finally got their banger, their, hate to say it, but like the replacement of that Yeezy. They may be a little bit more reluctant to release it to the public. They may keep it and keep that demand going for as long as they possibly can. These are currently going right now in the secondary market for $700, which is wild. And yeah, that's just, Adidas is back. But let me know down below, is the Jellyfish Adidas' new best shoe? I think so. I love y'all. Peace.